This is a spot, a drinking spot. In Ghana, there are thousands of locally designed spots, each with their own unique names, vibes, and booming Afrobeats. I'm very sure that wherever you are inside the world, you've been inside a similar space, whether sat with your friends in a corner playing cards, or with your eyes glued to the World Cup final, or the latest election results. But what if every community had not just a drinking spot, but a thinking spot? A place where people of all ages, backgrounds, and professions could come together to create the futures that they want to see through education. A place where they can come up with their own ideas to challenges such as climate change, digital exclusion, or gender inequity. This is the EduSpots concept. Education, spots. Oh, and following some really helpful advice, I just want to make sure I'm absolutely clear about the difference. Drinking spots, thinking spots. You've got it. So I'm so happy to share that there are over 400 incredible change makers, catalysts in Ghana and Kenya that are making this an idea a reality every single day. Let's give them some pressure. It goes like this. Boom. If I caught you by surprise, throughout this talk, claps and energizers are going to be some of the ways that we use to involve learners of all ages in the educational process, bringing movement, fun, and fundamentally a sense of joy into education settings that we all know can be so woefully dry. And yes, you've guessed it, my background is as a classroom teacher turned charity leader, with this wild idea that this spot concept might just change the world. So who's involved in this idea? The whole concept focuses on catalysts, a mix of local teachers, students, and community members who bring a wider group of people into involvement in education through the concept of a spot. So let's meet some of them. First, let's meet Adu and James, who are in the back right-hand corner. They started volunteering in Akumadan, aged 17, when Adu was retaking his senior high school exams. Together, they built a team of 40 young people to impact the literacy opportunities of over 1,000 learners in their community. And they didn't stop there. During COVID, they were so determined to keep the learning going that they even set a speaker system to the outside of the spot and recruited local teachers. They set up a book borrowing station, and all of this enabled learning to continue in a crisis. They've created their own local storybooks. They run their own radio shows. They do tree planting. They even applied for and won their own $5,000 grant to renovate the spot. And students in their clubs even created their own burglar alarm on the outside of the spot, creating an electronics club. You know it now, right? Let's give them some pressure. Boom. Next, let's meet Gertrude, an alumnus of this very university, Academic City. Together with a local maths teacher, Mohammed, she created an education hub in rural Bolgatanga in her home community, Dulagu, challenging gender-based norms in the process, not only as a female leader, but as the first female computer scientist in her whole area. She's here today, just for that, some pressure. Boom. Together, they ensured that learners across the area could access books, STEM clubs, computer science lessons. And today, Mohammed is making a difference across the community with his movable STEM Labs project. And Gertrude is not only designing the EduSpots app, but she's the regional coordinator for the whole northern cluster of spots today. I think they all deserve a clap. A different kind of clap. This one is the wow clap. It goes like this. Wow. It's in a heart shape. Wow. Wow. I'm going to give you another go. Let's do it together. Wow. Wow! Wow! Okay, so what's the system behind all this locally driven change? Well, first of all, you might notice that they apply to join the network as teams, because our research has shown that even the most talented change makers tend to set up projects that crumble after a few years, but with a team, they have resilience. So they apply as a team. They do their own community engagement. They find their own space in their own community or in a school setting, and they lean on their own resources, the community's own assets, before they're given a few tablets where they sign up to the EduSpots app. A brief word on this. One day, we hope this is going to be like the Facebook for community educators. And ultimately, it's a system that enables local people to set up, design, run, and lead their own educational systems. So the catalysts, they join collaborative training led by staff facilitators, 2/3 of whom have come from the SPOT community context, so really understand how this model works at ground level. And the training is in SPOT leadership, educational equity, and keeping SPOT safe. And following this, the communities decide which educational strands they want to focus on, with all of these options designed by them and co-led with a peer mentor drawn from the network. And every month, they're sent a monthly challenge, which is basically an exciting team-based collaborative opportunity to bring learners together, creating a sense of joy in education. Hands up who's on WhatsApp. Hands up who's on WhatsApp, right. So in today's world, digital opportunities bring this new chance to engage learners and catalysts well beyond the SPOT doors closing. And we've really leveraged on this in EduSpots, with the catalysts having a range of platforms that include interviews, guest appearances, sharing resources, collaborating, working together, all spiced up with EduSpots' blend of GIFs, emojis, and polls. And I can say this has also been a crucial tool in understanding that in EduSpots, the catalysts are members of an organization rather than passive recipients of stuff. It is them that decide the organization's mission and aims and how the organizations work. As one catalyst said, it's like they're not just replicating a preset model given from above. They're constantly involving themselves in shaping the whole organization at the local level and at the organizational level. And what's my role in all of this? Some of you might be asking, and I often wonder myself. So my role has been to connect the dots, or rather spots, being a bridge in between international funders and policies and the local educators, while constantly stepping backwards. At times it's felt a bit like playing a game of Twister for those who know the game. But gradually, as the network grows, the catalysts are becoming the organizational leaders, and the learners are fast becoming the catalysts of tomorrow, inspired by the active citizenship that they see modeled to them by their teachers, parents, and community members. It's one thing to tell a kid, be good to your community. It's another thing to just care for your community and ask them to get involved. Together, we believe that we can create an educational grassroots storm. Spot droplets, spot droplets, spot droplets, shower, 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 rain, 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 thunder, thunder, thunder. And if you can imagine that all of this started in a thunderstorm. We were sat in Aberfoyle in the Ashanti region, where I was staying as part of a school partnerships exchange with the Adai family and Francis Yaboa, a local driver. My dad, Roger, had recently died, and I can say that in many senses, I was sat in the darkness and the rain. The lights were out. But I came to realize I was not alone. Not only did they give me shelter, pull up a chair, and pour me a drink, they created a spot, the first spot, responding to local needs of light, educational resources, and study space. Between us, known to be in my dad's memory. And to this day, the spot is open every single day and night, symbolically lit by solar, so that the light never goes out. And I know that if my dad were here today, he'd be sat right there in the front row, giving his own very embarrassing dad-shaped clap on what happens to be, by coincidence, in the wild workings of the world, the anniversary of his death today, as I share the story of EduSpots for the first time 10 years later. My dad used to say to me, "If you don't care, you'll get eaten by tigers." He wanted me to bounce back from challenges. And so I think he'd love this clap. It's called the lizard clap. It goes like this. A lizard is on a tree. It falls, raises its little head, and it sees it's alone and needs to motivate itself to get up, saying, "Well done, well done, well done." But I don't believe that you can do anything meaningful in life alone. If there's anybody who understands the value of community and education, it's me. I started this journey as a classroom teacher without any NGO experience, battling grief, health challenges. I didn't even know what a social entrepreneur was. I was a full-time classroom teacher for the first 8 years of EduSpots' existence, and I was often lacking community, connections, and conviction. And every spot and catalyst has their own story of resilience. But together, you imagine waking up every day to this incredible, inspiring community on WhatsApp. We grew. And we began to see that we weren't working from anything predetermined of how NGOs should work. And we see now that that's led us to do things differently. We led from curiosity, from critical thinking, and from open discussions on power, of which this TED Talk is intended to be part, realizing that community leadership is an ongoing process and conversation, and not some fixed outcome. So today, the EduSpots network, through all of this, is now in 13 regions of Ghana and Kenya, involving over 15,000 learners of all ages in playful education. The learners are falling in love with education, with a recent quantitative study showing an increase of 13% over 1 year in emotional engagement in maths and science. The teachers are becoming more motivated and confident, with a play-based, collaborative, inclusive learning in line with government aims, having a ripple effect into the wider schools and communities that EduSpots works within. And crucially, what started as a spot, an education spot, is creating a wave of civic action across the communities. And the catalysts, they believe that this idea can fly far beyond its origin. In fact, it already has. 25% of the spots were set up by a catalyst moving from one community to another. This is Madam Janet, who was so keen to set up a new spot when she moved from Sakasaka to Amiao that she joined one of our training before the application was approved. But 2 years later, she's built a team of 30 teachers leading every education strand, and their spot won Spot of the Year. You'll see she's holding some of Amiao's own brand soap. This is one of many enterprise-based solutions that local catalysts have created with small seed funding to ensure that all costs for these projects are sustained, created, and run locally. And we believe that this idea could have an impact far beyond its origins here in Ghana. We believe that when you look at global locations such as the UK, my first home, America, and Europe, where we're facing huge political and social instability and polarization, that maybe this concept could bring people together towards a collaborative path forwards. This is a spot, a thinking spot. All of you are invited. Come on, pull up a chair and bring your teams. You're with me? What futures could we create together? Rather than sitting in the rain, waiting for someone from outside to come and clear the skies for us. Let's build from the inside out. Let's use the power of technology to connect rather than divide. Let's involve learners of all ages in playful co-creation. And let's do it together. I'd like you to stand. I'd like you to stand if you can. Stand with me. Today, I want us, starting here, to create our own educational storm. Okay. Spots, spots, spots. Say it with me, I can't hear you. Spots, spots, spots. Shower, shower, shower. Rain, rain, rain. Thunder, thunder, thunder. Lightning, lightning, lightning. And whatever we do, let's create learning spaces and systems that truly reflect the societies we want to live in and leave behind us. The final clap is coming, and it's for you all, the audience. Let's give you some pressure. Boom! Thank you so much for this opportunity.